In this video, you're going to learn how to create AI-powered Lightroom masks. We're going to start with an overview of the different AI-powered masks, and then in the second part of the video, we'll move to a demonstration. So let's start with the different mask types that are AI-powered. The first one that we'll look at are subject masks. With subject masks, Lightroom will automatically detect the primary subject in an image and then create a mask that encloses that entire image. You can see an example of that on the right-hand side of my screen, where we've used the subject AI mask to automatically detect the subject, which in this case is the school building. And so you'll notice that it's done a good job of selecting that and excluding the other things that are in that photo. So it's very good for detecting primary subjects, whether that be a building like we see here. It could be a person, it could be an animal, or some type of other object, a well-defined object. So very good tool for quickly refining portraits, products, or other images that need to stand out. So it's very good for situations where you have an easily detectable primary subject. Where it's going to be less accurate is for things like landscape photos. That's not to say that the subject AI-powered mask can't be used with landscape photos, but if you don't have a very well-defined subject, sometimes it can really have difficulties with landscape photos. But like I said, that's not always the case. Sometimes it can detect your subjects in a landscape photo as well. The second type of AI-powered mask that we'll look at is the sky, and this is probably the most commonly used, especially for things like landscape photos. You almost always need to enhance the sky in some way. And so this AI-powered mask is almost essential, particularly for things like landscape photos. And so what it'll do is just automatically identify and create a mask that covers the entire sky, and that should include clouds as well. So as I said earlier, it's great for enhancing your landscape photography, for doing things like creating dramatic skies. It's also used for correcting overexposed or underexposed areas. Also for subtle areas. Sometimes the sky is just a subtle part of the image, but you still need to do some correction on that as well. And the third type of AI-powered mask type is what we call a background mask. This one's a little bit tricky sometimes because it does rely on a subject. We talked about subject masks earlier, and the background mask is kind of similar to that. It needs a subject, right? So what it will do is it'll detect everything. It'll detect and select everything that's not the subject. So if it can't detect the subject, then it can't detect the background. So those two types of masks are similar in that way. So what it does is it essentially detect the subject and then select everything else for the mask that's not the subject. So it leaves the subject untouched. And it's used to create a strong separation between the subject and the background. So it's good for things like portraits, products, artistic photography. You can see an example of this of the background mask in this slide, where we've used it to select everything but the school. And so again, it has to have a subject to base this on. So sometimes it can have issues with the background mask types for situations where it can't detect the subject, then it's not going to be able to detect the background. So there are times when it can have some photos that can have issues detecting the background. And then the final type of AI-powered mask type is the people mask. This is good for automatically detecting and creating masks for individual people or for specific features of a person. It gives you the ability to selectively edit areas of a particular person, such as the face, the eyes, the skin, the hair. And so the obvious usage of a people mask, of course, is for portrait photography, where you need to enhance your portrait as needed. And again, it can detect selected areas of a portrait, like the teeth and the eyes, skin, if you want to do that, and other aspects of that. So, all right, so that kind of brings us to the end of the introductory section for these AI-powered masks. What we're going to do in the second section of this video is move to a demonstration and show you how to create these different types of masks. For the most part, these types of masks are, because they're AI-powered, not a whole lot that you have to do interactively to create the masks. You'll probably need to touch them up a little bit because they don't always do a perfect job of identifying the mask, but in general, they do a good job, and they're very easy way of quickly creating a mask for different types of situations. So at this point, we're going to go ahead and move to the demonstration section. So stay tuned for that. So we're going to start our demonstration by looking at the subject mask, and then we'll move to some of the other mask types that are AI powered. So the first thing we'll need to do is bring up the Create New Mask pane. And then from there, you've got most of your AI masks are presented right across the top here. So we'll start with a subject mask. And what you're going to do here is just simply click on the subject button. And what it's going to do is it's going to try to identify from your photo the specific subject of that photo. Now, keep in mind, it won't always be able to identify the subject, particularly when you're dealing with things like landscapes. But in a photo like this, where we have a well-defined subject, you're going to notice that it does a good job of identifying what that subject is in this photo. So I'll go ahead and click on subject, give it a few seconds there, and then this will be the result for this particular photo. Now, it's not perfect. You'll notice in this case that it's done a good job of selecting the school, and it even went so far as to leave out, there's a building back here, this is a metal roof back behind the school. So it did a good job of not identifying that object, but it's not perfect. You'll notice that the flagpole is not completely selected here. Down at the lower left-hand corner of the screen where there's some vegetation that overlaps the school, you'll notice there's some gaps there. And then it also selected the metal roof that's that's on the building right in front of the school. So again, these are not, sometimes the result of the subject mask is perfect, but many times you're going to have to clean up the subject mask. And so in a case like this, what you'd need to do is to selectively remove the metal roof that you see here. You'd need to go back here, and if you want to, you wouldn't necessarily have to do this, but you'd probably want to go in with a brush or perhaps a luminance range addition to add in the gaps that are here, and then you might or might not fill in that flagpole there as well. But point being here, the subject mask generally does a good job of identifying the subject, but keep in mind it might not fully identify the subject, and in other situations it might identify something as the subject that is not actually what you intended for the subject. Just to kind of show you this a little bit better, if we switch the mask overlay mode to something like image on black, that gives you a much better feel for exactly what it included in the mask. And you can see here when you're on image on black, you can see here how it selected the metal roof for the building in front of it. You can see how it cut off the flagpole. And then the lower left-hand corner where we've got vegetation that intersected the school, how it left that out. But in general, if you've got a pretty well-defined subject as part of your photo, it's going to do a good job of at least saving you some time here. Right? It's a lot more efficient to do this than it would be to use something like the brush mask to try to identify what the subject is. All right, so that's the end of this demonstration. What we'll do in the next demonstration is move on to using the Sky AI-powered mask. So stay tuned for that. In the second demonstration, you're going to learn how to create a sky mask in Lightroom using the AI-powered Sky tool. So you can see I've already brought up the Create New Mask pane, and the obvious button here is the Sky button. When you click this button, what it's going to do is identify, obviously, the sky, right? And that's going to include blue skies, clouds, partially clouded areas. This tool generally does a good job. Again, it's not a perfect tool. Sometimes you're going to get overlap, like we're probably going to see some overlap in these hill areas where there's some atmospheric effect going on. Sometimes it also has issues dealing with selecting skies that are between tree branches as well. Those are the areas where you may need to go in and touch this up a bit, either by adding additional areas to the mask or by removing areas from the mask. All right, but we'll go ahead and click on the sky, and what you're going to see here again is it's going to do a pretty good job. I need to change that a little bit, to change my overlay mode to color overlay. And you can see at this point what's been selected. Now again, it's not perfect, right? So you'll notice in these tree areas, right, you can see how it's left out the mask, right? There's some obvious, if I zoom in here a little bit, you can see how it's kind of left out these areas in between the branches. So I would have to go back and You could probably use something like, you could add to the existing mask here by using a luminance range mask. That would probably work fine for that. And then in some of these areas, you can see how the mask kind of extends down into these trees. A little hard to see in this mask overlay type. So if we switch over to, let's do it on black. So it's done a pretty good job here, but there's a little bit of overlap in some of those areas where you'd probably have to clean that up a little bit. But in general, I think it's done a pretty good job in this case. But again, it's not always going to be perfect, right? There's almost always going to be, unless you just have a very flat horizon, most of the time you're going to have to go back and touch this up either by removing some areas in the mask or by adding some additional areas to the mask. And most of the time that's going to be in those areas where you've got tree branches that are sort of obscuring the background. Aside from that, this is a very easy mask to create. Again, this just kind of falls into the category of AI masks. Just makes your job much faster, makes you a more efficient editor of your photos. All right, so in the that's kind of brings us to the end of this demonstration. What we'll do in the next demonstration is move on to the background AI-powered mask. So stay tuned for that. In this demonstration, you're going to learn how to use the background AI mask. And as I said earlier, the background AI mask has a lot in common with the subject AI mask. The background mask actually uses the subject to first identify the subject, and then the mask that gets created will be everything other than the subject. So if it can't find the subject, then it's not going to be able to identify the background. So keep that in mind as you're using this AI tool. It's going to have a subject. If it can't find that subject, then this tool is not going to work like you would expect it to. So what we'll do here on the Create New Mask pane is just simply click on Background. And again, the first thing it does is identify the subject. So, going back to that first demonstration that we did, remember the first demonstration centered around the subject AI mask, and you'll notice that this is the exact opposite of the subject mask. So it's essentially selected everything that's not the subject for this particular mask. Right? And again, not perfect, right? So in this case, it selected the flagpole that's extending up above the school when it probably shouldn't have. That's a tough one, admittedly. That's a very tough identify there. And then, of course, the lower left-hand corner of the school, you'll notice how it's masked in some of those areas. So again, you're going to have to go in there and alter this, right? You're probably going to need to go in here with a brush mask and erase some of those areas from the mask. And depending on what you want to do with this tin roof, right, you might want to add that in as well, right? But again, easy tool to use. You just have to keep in mind that if you don't have a well-defined subject, this background mask is probably not going to work. So just have to keep that in mind. All right, so that's it for the background mask tool. The last demonstration that we'll look at is the person mask. So stay tuned for that. That's coming up next. Okay, so that's going to bring us to the final demonstration for this video. And this one is going to center on creating a person mask. And so obviously the idea here is that you've got one or more people that are in the photo. So this makes it ideal for portrait photography, right? May or may not be used for that, but in the vast majority of cases, that's what you're going to use this for. So to initiate this tool, again, you'll go to the Create New Mask pane and then go down to People. Select that. This is going to take a little bit longer to do the detection than some of the other tools, right? But ultimately, this tool does really a pretty good job from what I found. So we've identified the person, and then from there, you do have the ability to click on and it can identify multiple people. And this particular photo just had one person, but keep in mind, if you get multiple people in your photo, you're going to get multiple options for people, and for each person you can identify specific parts of that person. So by default it's going to select the entire person as is displayed here, but keep in mind you might want to do something a little bit different. You might want to narrow that down to the facial skin, body skin here just identified the neck, the eyebrows, eye sclera, iris and pupil, lips, and you can see how good of a job it's done with these. This particular mask does a very good job of isolating and identifying those specific aspects of the person to be able to mask those types of things. So yeah, in this case, if you want to make the teeth whiter, right, very easy to just identify those teeth and do so. Hair, clothes, right? So this tool does a really good job, especially if you've got really well-defined people, which you probably will have in your portrait photography. So a very, very nice tool, if you're doing portrait type photography. This particular mask does a very good job of not only identifying the people that are in your photo, but also giving the ability to sub-select different aspects of the people that are in the photo. All right, so that is going to bring us to the end of this demonstration and of this video. I appreciate you joining me today, and we'll look forward to talking to you again soon. For more information, please be sure to follow me at the following resources. My website is ericpimplerphotography.com, or you can follow me on Instagram at eric_pimpler.